Introducing the epic new Swift. Time to go swifting.
वॉचो ऐप पे देखो एक ओटीटी के दाम पे सारे ओटीटी शान से.
It's another commanding performance from Rohit Sharma and the Indian team in this ICC Men's T20 World Cup as they've comprehensively beaten another Asian rival in Bangladesh and Antigua, this time by 50 runs. Big margin in T20 cricket. We look back at takeaways for both teams. Nothing yet decided, such is the curious nature of the Super 8. So even though they have won two, they're not yet officially through. And even though Bangladesh have lost one, they're not yet officially out. So we'll just keep all that for another couple of days. But we will look at what this game tells us from both teams' point of view. On Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPNcricinfo TimeOut, powered by Dish TV Watcher. We'll hear from Tamim, Iqbal very shortly. Anil Kumble before that in studio. On expected lines, again, a very commanding performance. And today's big tick, I guess, starts with Kuldeep Yadav.
Oh, yes, commanding, in terms of finish. I expected it to run a bit closer, but Bangladesh were never in the run chase. Kuldeep was a big plus, 3 wickets. He bowled superb on that surface. He got a bit of turn. He outfoxed all the batters. It was not like they were picking him. So that's a good sign when Kuldeep is bowling. If the batters are not picking, then you know that he certainly has the wood over the batter. And it was a brilliant spell of wrist spin, and it really augurs well going forward.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Kuldeep Yadav we did expect playing a part in the Caribbean. Tamim, Iqbal, thoughts on Kuldeep though? It just broke the back, I guess, of the chase with his spell, and it turns, doesn't it, in these surfaces in these morning games?
Yeah, he was brilliant, and he got hit for a 6, Saqib, and next ball flight at the
Sorry, Tamim, I think I'm just going to have to cut you. So sorry, Tamim. We're having some trouble with your audio video. If you could just cut and join back, and I'm going to have your thoughts in just a couple of minutes. Thank you to our viewers for just understanding. We'll have Tamim Iqbal back. We're not going to let him go so soon. We've plenty to discuss with Tamim, but let's carry on the conversation. You did mention possibly he could have been rusty in the last game, but Kuldeep, just from a bowling point of view, if you were to assess how he bowled, would you be satisfied?
Oh, very satisfied. I thought he got every line, length right, and that's what you want, from your premier bowler. Yeah. Someone, the reason that he's playing in this team is to pick wickets and literally break the back of the opposition in those middle overs. And that's where India have struggled a little bit. But with Kuldeep coming back, it's not going to be easy for any side. I mean, I know today there was a little bit of turn for him. Even if there's no turn, I think Kuldeep is a canny bowler to sort of utilize the variations that he has and keeps mixing it up. I thought the pace at which he bowled, the lines he bowled, he was attacking all the time. He had close catching, and that's what you want from an attacking spinner. Thinking wickets all the time, and he was brilliant today.
Yeah, Tamim, I think I've got you back now. Yes, you can take me through where Bangladesh got it wrong in trying to take down Kuldeep Yadav.
I think the approach, no doubt Kuldeep bowled unbelievably well. He was not scared to flight the ball up, but the approach of Bangladesh batsmen made him more confident to give those loopy, flighty deliveries. Yep. Because from the beginning, I never felt that Bangladesh were in a chase. Bangladesh might have scored once 46, but that Rishad innings of 10 ball 24 might look 146, but I never thought Bangladesh at any point was chasing that total. So which is disappointing, and that allows if a team is batting in that approach, that allows your bowlers to be more confident and try different stuff, and then end of the day everything looks amazing. So that's why we are talking about Kuldeep. No doubt, I'm not trying to doubt him, his ability. He has been a fantastic bowler for India, but opponent's approach made him look even better.
I think that's a very significant point because India had so many runs to play with. You almost saw the difference and the ease with which the bowlers and the fielders were managing, even if there was the odd expensive over. So let's go deeper into that, Tamim. And I think we also bring back now how Bangladesh even approached this game with selections. We can say now they certainly conceded more. Did they miss Tashkent Ahmed's services? Was it an error to play an extra batter for an outright seamer? And you can just take me through what you're perhaps most disappointed with in this game.
I think I was very surprised why Tashkent didn't play, because even today, if you see, both the spinners went for plenty of runs. Yeah. And there was a time where India was in a bit of bother when they lost back-to-back wickets in Tanzim Shakib's over. So if Taskin was there as an extra fast bowler, that was the time Bangladesh could have attacked India more. And we know about Shumam Dubey's a little weakness against the short ball. And Taskin had the pace to use that tactics against him. But unfortunately, I am very, very surprised why they didn't pick Taskin. Yes, Mehdi has been good. He has been always economical. But when you are playing as a front-life spinner, you also need to take wickets.
Yep.
Captain doesn't mind if bowler is getting hit for a 6 and a 4, but he is ending up taking a wicket or so. That helps the team more rather than being always economical.
Yeah, I can understand the logic clearly here, that their batting is not strong, so they want an extra batter, but did the wrong player pay the price?
Yeah, I think so. And if you look at even their tactics, opening the bowling with 2 spinners, where that Mustafizur would have perhaps been a better option.
Yeah.
The only reason that Bangladesh could not go with Mustafizur was because they played only 2 fast bowlers. If they had played Taskin, then maybe they could have looked to bowl Fizz in the power play, especially to someone like Rohit Sharma, because he's been getting out to the left arm seamer. If there's a little bit of swing into the right-hander, then that's the best approach to take. Yes, you can certainly bowl 1 spinner, maybe Shakib, to start with, because there were 2 right-handers, but to go with 2 spinners was a bit defensive. And again, the approach, Tamim mentioned that. The approach of Bangladesh, other than the first couple of overs, they were never in the run chase at all. When you're chasing 197, you need to be really going hard. You may lose wickets, but you still need to show that intent. But there was no intent. It was, once the spinners came on, it was more hope than showing intent.
What about the batting order in such big games as well?
Shakib. I'm surprised that, when you have the experience of a Shakib, he doesn't bat at 3. I think he needs to bat in the power play for Bangladesh, for him to get going. If he doesn't get to play in the power play, he gets stuck. He can't start against a spinner. He finds it very difficult. That's not his natural game. He needs to start against fast bowlers, and the only way that he can start with fast bowlers is if he bats in the power play, and he's your best experienced left-hand batter. You need that approach right at the start, and he did get a 50 in one of the games when he batted slightly up the order, and after that he's been moved back to number 5, number 6, and when the game is literally done and dusted.
And at least 4, if not 3. Today they sent Oidrido in, but yes, Tamim, you could carry on your thoughts on Shakib's batting position.
And I think I would like to add to Anil Bhai's comment regarding who should have opened the bowling for Bangladesh. See, we have all played the game. When one particular thing is been talking about a player, everybody is talking about Rohit Sharma, about left-arm fast bowler. His little weaknesses against left-arm fast bowler. This thing comes to a player's mind when they're playing a similar bowler again in the game. So Bangladesh knew everybody is talking about how he's getting out to left-arm fast bowler. So he had an opportunity. Bangladesh had an opportunity to start with a left-arm spinner, just to have a look. Because if you see, India might have scored 196, but the start that Rohit gave, he only might have scored 20 or 22. But the start Rohit gave was it was absolutely very, very important for India. Because that's how they got the momentum from. And even if they were not, I was very, very disappointed that they didn't pick up Taskin, because I think the whole plan changed. And also, if you see the whole tournament for Bangladesh, we have been talking about Bangladesh's bowling. We have been praising Bangladesh's bowling. But Tanzim Shakib has been bowling with the new ball, and he has been doing well. So why do you have to change the whole setup just because you want to play somebody else, and you have to change the whole setup when somebody is doing exceptionally well? So Tanzim Shakib didn't get to go with the new ball today.
Yeah, it just seems like so many things for such an important game. They're still very much in the tournament going into this. They're still not out. But they perhaps changed too many things.
You don't need to overthink in this game. You need clarity. Unfortunately for Bangladesh, they didn't have the clarity. And the other thing also is, when a senior player is getting on with his years in the game, you can't expect him to do the same role that he was doing right at the start of his career or when he was at his peak. So someone like a Shakib should be sent up the order saying, listen, just get me the momentum shift, and that's your role. Because you can't expect a Shakib to win you a game every single game, even now. You need the younger lot to come to the party. People like Hriday, Shanto, all these guys need to come to the party. You can't expect Mahmudullah and Shakib to win you games all the time with the bat. With the ball, yes, they were certainly disappointing. The tactics were certainly not there. The approach was very different, like how Tamim mentioned. Why change when things are working for you? I thought Tanzim really bowled well.
Yeah.
He has pace. He varied it. He got Virat out with a slower ball and then bowled a really quick one at Surya. At that point in time, if they had another attacking bowler, another attacking option, they could have certainly put pressure on India. The only attacking option was the leg spinner, Rishad. But again, on a pitch where India probably preferred, especially someone like Shivam Dube, preferred a spin. They didn't have a fast bowler to go to.
As it turns out, the extra batter also seemed fairly redundant.
No, it was, because when you're chasing that kind of a score, it becomes you need to show that intent. They never showed that intent at all, even with an extra batter.
And we've seen now, I think it's 4 days into the Super 8s, but we've had South Africa, India, South Africa again, India. 4 wins for the teams batting first in these morning games in the Caribbean, the evening games in our part of the world. So even at the decision of the toss, Tamim, you made the point that when your batting's out of that sort of form, you'd rather bat first and not chase, which is what's worked for Bangladesh.
Yeah, definitely. When your batsmen are scoring runs, you're confident about your batting lineup. Then you think, okay, if our opponent gets to 160, 170, the team is batting well, we'll back our batters to chase it down. But when the batting is struggling, so that makes me really surprised that then why you have to take that decision of change that decision and bowling first. So again, as I said, it was a very surprising decision for me. Not only that particular decision, but couple of decisions, not including Taskin and the way Bangladesh started their bowling. So yeah, there are a few things that fingers will be pointed.
Yeah, it looks like just a combination of so many things, and that's why we've not seen the contest we were hoping for with what we built up as an India-Bangladesh game in this competition that gives us plenty to look forward to. But let's just tick off some other boxes here. I think the one, there'll be serious concern, Anil Kumble, around Jasprit Bumrah's form, who's gone expensive 13 runs today, double figures.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, he's such a fantastic bowler. I mean, the way he comes along and bowls his 4 overs, no team has been able to sort of take him on. Yeah, I mean, going forward, if all things go well for India just before the Australia game, and if India is already through to the semi-finals, we'll get to know that, before the Australia game.
Sure.
Then maybe they can certainly look to rest Jasprit Bumrah against Australia if India is already qualified.
I'd love to ask a contemporary batter who's played Bumrah as well, and now teams would be thinking, look at the form that he's in, the way he's bowling on these surfaces. We have to plan against Bumrah, and it doesn't seem like you can really plan against Bumrah. It almost seems like, Tamim, whenever an opposition will have to chase against an Indian bowling attack, you're effectively having to chase the target in 16 or 17 overs because Bumrah gives you very little.
100%. And I think he is a fantastic bowler. I think rather than that, he's extremely smart. Everybody thinks about Bumrah, they think about, okay, death overs, Yorkers. But see how many length balls that he bowls. He understands the situation, he understands the wicket pretty well. I think he understands it better than any other bowler in the world at the moment. We all know that how good he is with his Yorkers, but the hard length that he bowls, and we all know that in Caribbean wickets, hard length to hit sometimes is very difficult. So he understands the situation so well. So that's why the results of what he's producing for India, there is a reason. It's not like that he's just coming in and bowling and things are happening automatically. He plans a lot of things, which I believe.
All right, fair enough. Now, just quick final brushes to cover for India. The left-arm spinners today, 5 overs for 50 runs. No real concern, though?
No real concern.
Jadeja, the bowler, though?
Yeah, no real concern.
Okay.
But I think, India will certainly be happy with the kind of performance that they put up. With the bat, with the ball in the field, I think they'll be happy with the way things went.
All right, let's just see the comments coming through on our YouTube Live, and I know there's a lot of love for the Bangladesh cricket team there. So Banik says, such a disappointing performance from Bangladesh. There was no intent through the innings. Varun Anger asks about Jadeja's form. Anil Kumble has just covered that. And Varun also adds, this is a nice point, good to see that New York's form is carried forward to Hardik. He needed a little bit of luck after the IPL, but that was perhaps a significant factor to Hardik Pandya finding some confidence that the conditions in the US helped him find his bowling form first, and now his batting form's back.
Oh yes, it really augurs well for India, because someone like the ability of Hardik, we all know how good he is with both the bat and the ball. Today was a classic example. He closed out the innings for India with the bat, a fantastic 50 at a really fast clip, and that's something that he does. He hits sixes at will, and we saw that again today. With the ball, he was again really good. He bowls those consistent areas. He picked up a wicket, and I think going into the next game against Australia, and of course beyond that in the semi-finals, India will be happy with his form, because at number 5 you need a batter in form to finish things off, because that's the critical sort of 6 overs between 14 to 20 is when you need to sort of have your best batters in form, and Hardik is in.
There's some very nice comments and questions and even opinions and thoughts on the India-Australia game. We're going to cover that in just a few minutes from now. We'll just wrap things up here first. Jiten Chandrana asks, Dubey's done well towards the end of his innings, but his first half of the innings, is it still slow? Is he still a point of concern for you as a batter?
Yeah, it is, because he never showed intent. He was happy to just clip it and get off strike. I know he was getting into first couple of balls, you can do that. But I think once you sort of understand the pitch and then the bowling, although, Bangladesh kept bowling off spinners to him, but he should have shown a little more intent. He has the ability to go over extra cover to the off spinner. It's not always that you need to only look to the cow corner for you to get those boundaries against spinners. So he needs to show a little more intent, especially when India bats first, because you need to get those runs, even if you can maximize the potential that you have. And he did make it up towards this back end of his innings, but the first half, I thought he certainly was very, very subdued.
All right, let's take some questions from the Bangladesh point of view and throw them to Tamim Iqbal. As Hiker says, there's a huge skill difference in batters of Bangladesh and India. Is that the reason for the loss today? I'd love Tamim's thoughts on that. And Nikhil also says, thoughts on Tamim's innings. Could they have given him the message to play aggressively? Tanzib, he was so exciting at the start of the tournament, but his form seems to have just weighed off a little, Tamim.
I think he hasn't had a great tournament yet. He just had one good game, which he scored 30-odd runs, where he batted quite nicely. But apart from that, he has been disappointing. I really rate him very highly. I think he has a tremendous talent he has in his batting, and he is very good shot maker as well. And I think, we expect much more from Tamim, and I think BCB has investing him a lot. He has been given a lot of chances, so it's high time for him to pay the team back.
Tamim, I'd like to bring you in on what Najmul Hossain Shanto has just said in the post-match chat. And he said, we have a lot of batting, but we didn't show the right intent. And the captain's also said, I should have taken the job of finishing the game, and I didn't. So he's taking a lot of responsibility personally. Just your reactions to the captain's comments?
I think in this particular game, it doesn't make sense to me. Because he said that he should have taken the responsibility to finish the game, but Bangladesh were never close in this contest. So I didn't understand why he said that. Bangladesh's batting has been disappointing in this whole tournament, and the think tank really needs to think how they're going to get forward from here on.
All right, and there's one comment which I was certainly waiting to take. There's a lot of love for you, Tamim Iqbal. Fans are missing you. Are you going to be back?
No, that is something that needs to be discussed with the BCB. But we are here, me, Anil Bhai, here to support in our own country. Anil Bhai is there to support India. I'm here to support Bangladesh. I always like to speak positively, but when there is something wrong, that is also my responsibility to point out those things.
I think they've got a good tactically astute captain and top order batter waiting with lots of experience. All right, we'll cover that on another day. All right, for now, let's cover some of the key performances of the day. It's starting with our Dish TV Watcher Entertainer of the Day. Right, I quite like this segment because it's not necessarily the player who's secured the Player of the Match award. That's Hardik Pandya, and we all praise of him. I'm going to come to Hardik in a bit, but we're looking at a cameo, a little performance, supporting act that'll be the point of discussion for fans at the end of the day. A fan favorite, shall we say, much like Wacho, also a fan favorite. And Tamim Iqbal mentioned Rohit Sharma earlier. Anil Kumble, captain's form has been some part of the discussion in this tournament. The quick fire 23 of 11. Just what you need?
Yeah, you need that. You need that from your openers, and he certainly showed the intent right from ball one against the spinners. Yes, he could have carried on, but not to be today. But the start that he gave India certainly showed the intent that India had towards this innings, because when you're batting first, you need to have that kind of a approach.
Yeah.
And it certainly captain led from the front.
Yeah, Tamim, you mentioned that little cameo was so important to just set the pace for the India innings.
Definitely, people have been talking about that openers are not scoring runs, and then they're coming out with this mentality. Changes the whole thing from the opponent. The opponent might be thinking that they might take ball or two to see what they're going on because they have been not scoring runs. But Rohit was aggressive from ball one, so I think that made Bangladesh a little surprised.
Yeah, we're seeing a different India here. Even if they've not got runs, it's not like Rohit and Kohli are looking to bat some time and get a score, which is nice, refreshing to see that they're going to play like this, regardless of their own personal numbers.
Oh yes, I don't think the game is like I said earlier as well, saying the game is not somewhere where you'd want one batter to bat through the 20 overs for you to get to a 180 now, 190. It's sort of done in a different way, like how India approached today. The highest score was 50. There were a couple of 30s there,
yeah.
And that's what you want in a batting lineup, especially when you're batting first. You need to utilize your resources, and India did that really well. You can't let go of one batter sort of trying to play through the innings. You can't have that unless the wicket demands that. But this was a good surface, so when it's a good surface, you want the batters to go there and then just bat with freedom.
Yeah, that's the captain's leading from
Raunak
the front.
bhai,
Yes, Tamim, please.
Yeah. So can I say something very off topic? I just wanted to ask something to Anil bhai. Anil bhai, Raunak's last question about the ability of the batting of the two different teams. What I like to believe is when Bangladesh, we all know that Bangladesh plays in a very difficult wicket for batsmen. Okay. It's not like that if you put Bangladeshi batsmen in a very good wicket, they'll start to score runs like this. Even in a good wicket, you need to know how to score runs. You need to know your limitation, how to play shots and what not to play shots. It's not like that you produce a good wicket and from day one you will start to play all those shots that Indian batsmen are playing. So I think this is something that a long-term plan should be placed, where if Bangladesh keeps on playing on very good wickets, they will develop shots which they can't, especially in wicket like Mirpur or other wickets, because you have been to Bangladesh, Anil bhai, you know how difficult it is to play shots. So this is one thing that I want to highlight. It's not like you have been playing in a not so good wicket for a number of years, and suddenly in ICC World Cup you're playing in a really nice wicket. That means that Bangladeshi batsmen will start scoring. Even on a nice wicket, you need to know how to score runs.
Yeah, absolutely, and it applies to the bowling as well. If you're not used to bowling on good surfaces, you're always constantly bowling on slowish, turning tracks, then it becomes a lot easier for the bowlers, and then suddenly to adjust. I mean, we spoke about Mustafizur. Tamim mentioned that point as well when we spoke at the halfway stage, where Mustafizur needs to sort of adapt to conditions where it's more batting friendly, and that's where he sort of finds it difficult as well. So yes, I agree with Tamim, because it's all about confidence. Batting, bowling, cricket is a confidence game.
Yeah.
The only way that you can gain confidence is if you bat on good surfaces, and the batters get some runs, they have all the shots, they prepare like that. But if you're constantly trying to prepare on tough, challenging pitches, then the confidence never remains. Because today you could see from the batting, yes, you can see that the skill level, you can make out that there was a little bit of a edge with the Indian batting lineup, but however, you can make that up with the attitude and the intent that you show, but that was never there with the Bangladesh batsmen. Right from ball one, except for the first couple of overs, they never looked like they were chasing 196.
Yeah, I mean, white ball cricket in particular. We can understand surfaces for red ball cricket to an advantage to the home team. Tamim, I must ask you, the BPL, how generally are the surfaces for the BPL when a lot of these players play their 2020 cricket?
I think it's getting better. For last 2 years I think it's getting better. But if you see, BPL has, I think it's on 11th year now, 11th edition. The first couple of editions was like teams were defending 120, 125. I think the cricket is fantastic. The tournament is fantastic. It's just we couldn't prepare very good cricketing wickets so that the crowd get excited, But last 2 years, I will say that scores have been higher. Teams are getting 160, 170, 180, and the other teams are chasing. So I think in that aspect, we are in a right track, BPL, but international cricket, this is somewhere because we are so much result oriented. Even if we decide to play on a very good wicket from first game of the series, if you lose the first game and then to get the result, people are trying to make the spinning track and all of those. I think not only players, not only coaches, the board, everybody combined has to come out of that mentality that's fine. We anyway losing. So let us lose another 6 months. That's fine. But prepare good wickets so that the bowlers can learn and the batsmen can learn. Because it's not about only batting. Batsmen can get you 300s, but it's also how bowlers are defending on good wickets. That is another thing to for Bangladeshi bowlers. So there's a lot of things. Everybody has to be in one. They should all come together and say, okay, this is what we are doing. We don't care what is happening in next 6 months. Let's take our cricket forward. So this is the only way, I think, for Bangladesh.
Yeah, absolutely. All the stakeholders have to come together, and we've seen that with the foundations and the grassroots for Indian cricket. Must tell you, Tamim, if you want good batting wickets, we've got plenty in our part of the world, at least in our country. We'll send a few, we'll ask the drop-in guys to lift a couple from Bangalore or Bombay and just Kolkata also.
The problem is we hire curator from India, but when they come to Bangladesh, they prepare Bangladeshi wickets.
We need to find the root cause of the problem here. But this is such a fascinating discussion. Brilliant from Tamim Iqbal, who's of course got a great pulse on Bangladeshi cricket, and Rohit Sharma, of course, would be very happy to share some of those 1KD wickets which are high scoring. Rohit Sharma, remember, was our Dish TV Watcher Entertainer of the Day. Might I just tell our viewers, he's a fan favourite. So many of you Bangladeshi cricket loving viewers also would admire Rohit Sharma, and I can just tell you here that with Watcho, you could get 19 OTTs like Disney Plus, Hotstar, Z5, Sony Live and more, the price of one. Plan starting at just 229 rupees only. Enjoy your favourite content on the screen of your choice. Download the Watcho app now. Right, brilliant discussions here. We veered a little from the game, but that's because there were so many more talking points that were invited or needed. Game as itself, not much of a contest, but significant for India. So let's have a rapid fire review now with Anil Kumble and Tamim Iqbal. Let's start with you, Anil. Impactful cameos as against milestones. How refreshing is India's new approach to T20 batting?
I think that's the need of the hour in a T20 game, especially if you're batting first. You need all your batters to go there with intent and ensure that the momentum and the run rate and the strike rate continues throughout the 20 overs, and that's exactly what we saw today.
All right, Tamim Iqbal, he is in the side as an all-rounder, but how good was Hardik Pandya, the batter, today, and what made him succeed?
I think he looks extremely focused. He is in control of his batting, and he knows exactly when to attack and when not to attack. Even I remember on the 17th over, he went after Rishad, and the next ball he was calm. So he exactly knows when to attack and when not to attack. That is making him successful.
All right, we'll just hope to just fix that line. I'm glad it came through absolutely flawlessly when we were discussing Bangladesh cricket, but let's hope it comes back. Yeah, slight error. I couldn't hear him too well, but let's hope we can get that line established. Right, I think we got most of Tamim's point. Anil, back to you. Did India's ploy to pick Dubey to attack spin pay off?
Yeah, the second half, yes. That was his approach. He sort of made those calculative moves to sort of go after the left-arm spinner and the leg spinner, which certainly worked in his favour. But I would have preferred him to show a little more intent at the start, because India was cruising. Rishabh Pant and him literally took the game away from Bangladesh.
All right, back to you, Tamim. Could Bangladesh's batters have done anything different in the chase?
I think I would have been more satisfied if Bangladesh were 100 all out, trying to chase 194 rather than scoring 147 without having any intent. I think everybody should have that intent to chase down 196 or whatever India got. I didn't see any intent from anyone.
All right, let me continue with you, Tamim. With the required rate so close to 10 from the start, should Shakib have been promoted?
This is what we have been talking about for last 2-3 days. I think if he's someone who needs a little bit of time, then he should be batting at least at number 4. Maybe he should have a discussion with the coaches and captain. He's senior enough to go himself and ask for it if he feels like that he should bat up the order.
All right. Anil Kumble, in hindsight, did Bangladesh get the toss call wrong and the decision to bench Thaskin?
Yeah, I think so. I think in hindsight, yes, certainly, because Bangladesh's batting has been the vulnerable one. Their bowling has sort of managed really well. So dropping Thaskin in an important game like against India was certainly a blunder. And if they had batted first and even have got to 160, they could have certainly put pressure on the Indian batting lineup.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. That is a wrap as far as this game is concerned, but both teams still have one more game to go. And as we look at what could be the fitting finale ahead of the semi-finals, that's India versus Australia, the final Super 8 game. Let's just pick up some of the comments that came through and let's just have a chat with Anil Kumble on what India can do to take away from this game. Assuming they have secured qualification, Anil, would you rest some key players and who?
I would certainly look to rest someone like a Bumrah and get Siraj in for him in that particular game, because it's again back-to-back and within a week you're literally playing 5 games. They've already played 2.
Yes.
And then if they go on to play Australia, then the semi-finals and hopefully the final after that, then India would have played literally 5 games in 6 days, which is quite a bit, including travel. So I would certainly look to rest Bumrah if India had already qualified, and get Siraj in and then see how he goes with the new ball. And that's the only change I would look to do.
What about a Yuzvendra Chahal perhaps for a game? Maybe leave Kuldeep out to leave the mystery for the potential finale.
Yeah,
if there's a rematch?
possibly that could be one option, but maybe only if India think that
because Kuldeep hasn't played much.
Correct.
You're more tempted to.
I'm more tempted to continue with Kuldeep. The only option is if you're thinking of bringing Yuzi Chahal in the semi-finals and hopefully the final, then maybe you could look at bringing Chahal in for even one of the spinners. It could be Kuldeep or it could be one of the spinners. Take a chance in this game. Highly unlikely that India is going to do that.
Australia would be their biggest challenge in this World Cup so far?
So far, yes. I mean, if you look at the way they have sort of played all the games, it's been, Bangladesh is the only sort of, and Pakistan are the only regular playing countries. Of course, Afghanistan is there, but otherwise it's the US and Ireland and Canada which got rained out. So the first biggest challenge would be Australia in terms of the opposition, and India will certainly look to play really well and then get a win, because that will certainly give a lot of confidence going into the semi-finals, and hopefully it could be the same team in the final too. So you can't take things lightly, or even if India is qualified, Australia is qualified, both teams can't take lightly in that last Super 8 game.
It's a day game in St. Lucia, high scoring venue, and we know what Australia's batting looks like, but like for like, who's the stronger batting unit you sense?
No, I think in terms of the overall batting approach, I think I would still back India. If you look at Australia, they're very dependent heavily on their opening partnership. So Travis Head and David Warner are the key for them. If India can get past them early, then the likes of Mitch Marsh, who hasn't had too much game time, he hasn't scored much, other than Stoinis, who's done well. Maxwell hasn't really done special things for them yet. So yes, they certainly have the wonderful batting lineup, but they're heavily dependent on their opening batters. Whereas India, everyone sort of had their chances and contributed. Today it was Virat, Rohit getting some runs. Then you had Shivam Dube gets runs, Hardik's got runs, Akshar has batted, Jadeja has batted a little bit, Rishabh has been good. So Surya has got some runs. So everyone sort of had some runs. So I think India's batting certainly would be much more comfortable.
8 months is a long time, or a not so long time. Would the memories of the ODI World Cup final on the 19th of November have any bearing on this game?
If India is already qualified and Australia is also qualified, then I think you have the freedom not to worry about all those. Just go and play. If it's a must-win for India to qualify to the semi-finals, then you may be under a little bit of pressure. Otherwise, you need to just free up, go there and then just bat without any fear, because irrespective of when you're going to play Australia, the pressure is going to be there because they're a good side. So you just need to go there without any fear and then approach the game in that fashion. You can't think about what's happened in the past, but go there with absolute freedom and go from ball one.
Tamim, thank you so much for your patience, and I want to come to you as well. Now, having watched both teams very closely, you've seen what Australia are capable of and what India are as well. Like for like, take me through how you would objectively see this game playing out and who's stronger in which suit.
I think the both are equally strong. I think Australia has a very good bowling attack, and then, as Anil bhai said, they're highly dependent on their top order, where India is overall looking quite strong. I think for India, the biggest challenge will be when they go to knockout stage, which unofficially they are. They haven't won an ICC trophy for 10, 12, 15 years now. If that doesn't come to the players' mind, India should be all right, because this is where the fear of failure comes to all the team members, players, and then they play differently. This is what we saw in the 50-over World Cup. The whole tournament, India played like a champion. That particular game, they looked very different in my eyes. So if that thing doesn't kick in players, India is looking extremely strong.
Really important start or phase of the game could be Bumrah versus the two left-handers at the top, Tamim, Warner and Head. You mentioned that point. When Australia knows a bowler is bowling well, they target him, take him on. When we chatted before the Australia-Bangladesh game, how do you see Warner and Head taking on Bumrah?
I think Travis Head will definitely go after Bumrah. I think so. Whether Bumrah gets better of him or he gets better of him, that we have to wait and watch. But the way Travis Head is playing at the moment, he goes after everyone, and that also gives opportunity to Bumrah to take a wicket, because if you take those two outs early, Australia will be in they will be in a back foot for sure.
That's the flip side to it. Play Bumrah and maybe put some potential psychological dents in Warner and Head should you come up against them later on.
Yeah, that's also something that you can think of. But then I think all these permutations, combinations, you don't want to think too far ahead.
Yep.
You go by how Bumrah is feeling, and if he's feeling that he needs a break, then I think you're better off giving him a break and be fresh for the semi-final, rather than looking too far ahead of the final, even before that. So I would look at how he is feeling, how Bumrah is feeling, and then take a call.
The flip side would be, how would India's batters look to play Adam Zampa, who's in such good form?
Oh, I think you'll have to attack him. You will certainly have to attack him. There's no two ways about that. And India have the sort of arsenal. I mean, they have certainly someone like Shivam Dubey. He needs to take him on. And if Rishabh Pant or Surya is batting at that point, or even one of the openers, Virat or Rohit, they'll look to take on Adam Zampa.
Is that something you notice as well? An informed Rishad who said, though he's a young player, Tamim, that India decided to take him on even though the state of the game was delicate. Zampa's a much more seasoned pro. He's in very good form. Do you also see India taking down or attacking Adam Zampa, putting him under pressure?
Definitely. I think India will do that, because if you see Rishad Hussain, there were a lot of talk about him. He's good from Bangladesh, first leg spinner, doing well. The first ball he bowled was a wide ball. The second ball, Virat hit him for a 6. You don't see Virat out of power play taking a bowler straight away. He's normally ones and twos, and then he takes his time and then he plays big shots. So I think there was a clear plan to go after Rishad, and that actually worked for India. So I think for Zampa, which Indian batsmen have played enough of him, he has bowled to Indian batsmen a lot of times, and I think someone like Rishabh Pant or Surya Kumar or Shumam Dubey will definitely go after him.
All right. On that note, it's a game we can't wait for. And of course, before that, Australia must have to get the better of Afghanistan to ensure that their semi-final spot is not jeopardized. And we know how that fixture played out in the last ICC men's event. Tamim, Iqbal, thank you so much for your time and all your insight and your thoughts. Look forward to having you again very soon. Anil, Kumble, what an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
I wish you well, and I hope to see you back again in our studios soon.
Thank you, Raunak. Thank you. Thank you, Tamim.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anil bhai. Thank you.
All right, and thank you so much. What a riveting discussion. A lot of appreciation coming through on our YouTube Live. Please keep that coming as we approach the last few days of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup. That's a wrap from us on Maruti Suzuki Arena Presents ESPNcricinfo TimeOut, powered by Dish TV Watcher. To download the mobile app, it'll have you covered with everything from the World Cup. Shakib Al Hasan actually addressed the media at the end of this game. Very keen to see what Shakib has to say as Bangladesh go down for the second game in the Super 8s. We'll have live coverage for you at the end of the Australia-Afghanistan game tomorrow morning if you're in India. And of course, USA-England in a significant game to decide the fate of England as well as other teams in Group 2. That's tomorrow evening. So that's around the toss, 7 p.m. and 7:30. And we hope to see you then. Bye-bye.
Introducing the epic new Swift. Time to go swifting.
वॉचो ऐप पे देखो एक OTT के दाम पे सारे OTT शान से।
Watch